So you got me on the Masters there. That was my group was 5 over. I had what? Did I have 3 guys miss the cut? TJ?
You had 2.
I had 2, and you just had 1, right, Rory?
Yeah, I picked to win it. Didn't even make the damn cut.
I know, me neither, dude. I had DJ to win it, and DJ ended up missing the cut at 5 over. I couldn't believe that, man, because he did pretty well on Thursday.
Yeah, I was really shocked about DJ missing the cut. I mean, especially, though as good as he's been playing too, it was really surprising.
Yeah, Justin Thomas really let me down. Xander could have made it closer than it was there at the end. He collapsed there on 16. So, and then Patrick Cantlay. I mean, that's the one that you'll just say whatever. He had a bad week, but DJ and then the kind of collapse that Justin had on Sunday didn't do me good. But it was good to see Matsuyama win, though. I like him.
Yeah, it's it's good to see new faces win. I think he's the first Japanese player to win the Masters too.
He is, and he's been around a while. I like how he smiles and has fun. Even if something goes wrong, he keeps it lighthearted. He doesn't get all upset and start breaking clubs is it Siwoo Kim that broke his putter and then was putting with the 3-wood? I think he went under par on the holes that he putted with the 3-wood.
Yeah, man. I've had the funny story is a high school tournament. So for me, I actually I didn't putt with a 3-wood. I actually ended up putting with a wedge for my last 3 holes.
Oh my God.
Even par. Yeah. So
why did you go with a wedge?
It just, for me, it was easier to putt with, because if you hit it, you can roll it pretty smooth with a wedge.
But it's not a flat club face.
Yeah. But you just, when you're messing around the putting green or chipping green, you can putt really well with a wedge. If you time it, you just hit the top of it with your the bottom of the wedge, it's really easy to roll it.
Yeah. Why is it that you can't have an extra club in the bag or something?
You could have it. Phil before has gone with 2 drivers, but if you alter the club in any aspect whatsoever, if it's bent, anything like that, it's completely illegal to play with it.
That's interesting. I mean, I guess that makes sense. You could, I don't know what you would do with it in the middle of a round, but
yeah, that's just one of those rules. I mean, my situation is very similar to his. I just snapped mine over my shoulder, and so.
Well, golf is kind of like baseball or something, where it's just an old boys club where they don't really like change, and that's why most of the fans are old white guys. But I digress. Yeah. So, welcome into Right Hand, Left Hand, just a little Masters talk. Josh did beat my ass in our Masters draft. So he notched up a win on that one, but then I absolutely swept the floor with him on last week's UFC card. I cleaned house. I lost 1 bet. I think my picks were 7-1 or something. So we're on a heater right now.
And the one you lost is the one that I picked with you. So
it was one of the 2 fights that we picked together. Vittori pretty much did what we thought he was going to do. You thought Kevin Holland looked. I mean, Kevin Holland did look a little bit better than he had against Brunson a month ago, but you were a little more impressed with him than I was. I don't see. You thought maybe he could have beat Brunson if he had been in that form. I didn't really see anything that suggested that would have played out differently, but.
Yeah, I mean, for me, I thought he showed more heart in this fight and was more serious about it.
Yes.
I mean, let me tell you, Kevin Holland standing, he might be one of the best strikers standing in that middleweight division. I was listening to Brendan Schaub a little bit earlier today, and we're really going to see what the UFC thinks of Kevin Holland after this fight. If they really like him, or if they're going to feed him to the dogs. Because if he gets somebody like another wrestler, a strong wrestler like a Chris Weidman, any of those, you look at that top 10 middleweight division, man, a lot of those guys can wrestle.
Oh, yeah.
You could say Paulo Costa would be a good fight because he's not going to sit there and shoot on him.
Yeah, but he's so far above him.
Yeah, I mean, but these are just fights that if he was matched up correctly, Like Darren Till, he's not going to sit there and try and take him down. Izzy's not going to sit there and take him down. Paulo Costa's not going to sit there and take him down. But all those guys have great wrestling defense as well, too. I mean, if you look at it, I think if Uriah Hall loses to Chris Weidman, you could probably do that fight. And try and get him on track. And then if you match him correctly and not give him some heavy wrestlers, you could see him potentially fighting for a title. But me personally, I think he should go to welterweight and make that move down there because he is a smaller middleweight.
That's what I was going to say is like, I don't see him after these last two performances ever having the physical tools to wrestle at 185. Like those guys just absolutely crushed him. The book is out on him. Like I just don't see it being physically possible. And in order to get that title shot, you should have to have a well-rounded game. You shouldn't be one-dimensional like that. And so I agree with you. That's why I like to move down to featherweight for him, but we'll see how that plays out. In the meantime, we do have another couple of middleweights on the main event this weekend. Robert Whittaker, who's a guy I really like a lot, is facing off against Kelvin Gastelum. Wasn't he supposed to fight? Who was he supposed to fight? Wasn't it somebody else? And then they stuck Gastelum in there?
Yeah, so Whittaker was supposed to fight
Paulo Costa.
Costa. Yeah.
And then he got the flu.
Yeah, or he drank too much wine, whatever it was. But yeah, I mean, I like this fight. This match has been in the making for a while now between them supposed to fight for the title back in Australia, and with Whittaker having that I think it was a small intestine problem, and he almost pretty much was like about to die.
Oh my God.
Essentially, and then Izzy and Gastelum fought for the interim title right after that in Atlanta, which was a great fight. Those guys. I mean, Calvin. His hand speeds, man, is so fast. He's one of the. He's a Mexican fighter, so he's tough as nails. He's got great wrestling, great hand speed. This fight's gonna be interesting, and Whittaker, he's just an all-around fighter, and every time you see him, he improves somewhere. And for me, it was really heartbreaking to see the way that he did lose to Izzy because I feel like he can do better than that. And even after the Vettori fight, I don't think, even me and you talked about this before, I don't think Vettori's going to get a title shot. And you could see if with a great performance after this, for this fight right here, you could see potentially one of these guys getting a rematch with Izzy.
Yeah, I don't think Vettori was, I think he probably needed a more impressive victory if he was going to jump up and get a title fight. Whittaker had a very, very, very impressive victory against Jared Cannonier last year. That was absolutely incredible against a guy with a ton of power and who's very talented in Cannonier. Now, what do you think about maybe Vettori and Cannonier? What do you think about that?
I like that, but also don't forget Whittaker. Not only did he beat Cannonier, but he beat Darren Till that year too. Mm-hmm. So I mean, Whittaker he's tough out for anybody. I mean, he's definitely the number one contender in that division for a reason. I like that Cannonier fight. Me personally, I'd rather see Costa and Cannonier.
Ooh, that would be good, man. Somebody would be going down in that fight. Oh, that would be so much fun to watch. But maybe
you do Derek Brunson and Vettori.
Ooh, that could be good. Yeah. I definitely like Vettori in that fight, but I feel like Derek Brunson's earned a shot at, one of those top 10 guys. He's he beat Kevin Holland, who's a rising star, but we already talked about them. So, we will move on. I do love Robert Whittaker in this fight. Like, I just am in general a fan of him. I think he's so clearly the best matchup for Izzy. Maybe you put Darren Till up there as well. But Robert Whittaker beat Darren Till, like you said. So I am really looking forward to Whittaker winning this fight and getting another title shot against Izzy. Even if Izzy doesn't want it again, like, I don't care. That's the fight that needs to happen, dude. I will say that I forgot I was going to do my background today. I was going to Photoshop a bottle of wine into Paulo Costa's mouth while he was knocked out on the canvas. So I'm really ashamed that I forgot about that. I did throw Matsuyama's caddy up there, though, in honor of my guy winning the Masters. But what do you think happens if Gastelum wins a fight?
I think he gets a title shot.
You think so?
I think he gets a title shot.
It, yeah.
I think he gets a title shot. You know, Darren Till, if he would have beat Whittaker, he's getting that title shot. Everybody knows that was going to happen if that was the case. Or Darren Till and Vettori, excuse me. I think the winner of that fight would have gotten a title shot.
Well, if he'd beat Whittaker.
Yeah, I mean, I just
probably
don't
already had the title shot.
Yeah, I just don't think that that Vettori win is enough to be. You know the way Derek Brunson beat Holland. You know, and then he did the same thing with the same game plan. Essentially, I think he was just more vicious about it and hurt Holland more on the ground than Brunson did, which sold him. You know, I think really, if one of these guys look really good in this next fight, you definitely could see them fighting for the title. If not, if it's not a, you know, if it's just an okay fight, I could see Vettori getting a title shot. But you know, we'll see. You know, whatever the UFC has and what Izzy has. I mean, he's the champ. At the end of the day, he has the last say in the matter. I think it's going to be a great fight. I think Kevin Gastelum is definitely underrated in this fight, and people are counting him out. And I've seen him come out on top over and over again against great fighters. He just hasn't. When he gets to that point, he just hasn't. He hasn't dug down deep enough, like in those championship rounds against Izzy, because Izzy really stole that 5th round and stole that fight from him, and had a chance to win that title.
Yeah. Gastelum's lost some tough decisions here recently. It really is such a shame about Darren Till breaking his collarbone, man, because the winner of that fight was going to get the title shot, like you said, and it's really just such a shame. Plus, now one of the top guys in the division is out for a long time. That's a serious injury. That's going to take him a long time to get back into even just training and doing like serious physical activity. But I'm all over Whittaker in this fight. I'm not going to bet it because of the line. I think they're much more closely matched, and you know, I think the manner in which the winner of this fight wins the fight will go a long way in determining who's up next against Izzy, like you said.
Yeah, I mean, I'm not going to bet this fight. I'm gonna stay away from it. But I know you're going to go Whittaker, but I'm going to go Gastelum. I just have a feeling about this. I like Kelvin in this fight. I think the hand speed is going to be definitely a factor. I think you know, Whittaker's fast. Don't get me wrong. And I think that Kelvin's going to try and implement some wrestling in there to try to mix it up. I think Whittaker's got the better of the kicking game between them. And I could look to see Whittaker use some calf kicks in this to try and stop that wrestling as well. But I'm going to go with Kelvin just to keep it interesting and keep our bets rolling, so where we're not picking the same people, because right now I'm down. So I need to catch back up.
You need to make up ground. Yeah. So overall, I think you're 10-10 and I'm 13-7 is what we came out to after last week. There are 2 other fights on that main card. It's not nearly the deep card that it was last week.
Right.
I mean, there's some names on there. I mentioned before we started recording. I like Juan Espino, the Spaniard, up there to submit his opponent at heavyweight. But the co-main event, Drakkar Klose and Jeremy Stevens, and then another fight on the main card is going to be Chase Sherman, the Vanilla Gorilla. I know, you know, I love the nicknames. Although Whittaker Bobby Knuckles is a pretty good one too. I like that.
I love that. Love Bobby Knuckles.
And then Sherman is fighting Arlovsky. So, which one of those 2 intrigues you more?
Yeah, I mean, definitely. I think Andre Arlovsky stepping in on short notice to take this fight. I think this is kind of a do or die fight for his UFC career. I think after this, if he wins, you know, you'll see him maybe a couple more times. If he loses, I believe he's out. I believe the way the UFC is cutting veterans like him and just not performing, especially at heavyweight with the younger guys coming up. They want some new blood in there, some fresh blood. So, you know, it's interesting to see. This is with his back against the wall. Somehow, some way, every time Arlovsky always finds a way, because he's always right back in the UFC. And you know, I'm gonna go with Arlovsky in this one. I know he's actually, I think, a favorite right now, which is kind of crazy stepping in short notice, if I'm not mistaken.
Arlovsky is indeed a favorite, and I am going to continue with our theme of picking opposite of one another and go Chase Sherman. Sherman's is moving closer to plus 100. I took him at plus 105 earlier today with Arlovsky at minus 120. I agree with everything you said about Arlovsky, where he gets his back against the wall and he, manages to get a win when he needs it the most. But I will go with Chase Sherman. He's a guy who signed his initial UFC contract, went 2-2, then lost 3 straight to go 2-5 his first time in the UFC, got cut, and then has since made a comeback. He did get a W last year. I don't recall who he fought. I don't have his profile pulled up right now, but I think he's got new life in him with this second contract. I don't think he's going to mess it up, and I just think Arlovsky's time has come. But speaking of UFC trimming the fat with these older guys, that also applies to this next fight, and a little bit of a deeper division in the lightweights. But these are still 2 talented guys with Drakkar Klose and at least talented on the feet, Jeremy Stephens.
Yeah. Is this at lightweight or featherweight?
I think it's at lightweight. Let me double check really quick. Yeah, it says lightweight where I'm looking. So
I could have sworn I thought Stevenson dropped down to featherweight.
Oh, you're right, because he fought Calvin Kattar last year.
Yeah, and he's fought Jose Aldo, and with him dropping down to featherweight, or Jose's at bantamweight, but before he lost to a body shot from Aldo at featherweight when he was making his run.
Drakkar Klose is definitely a lightweight. I think Jeremy Stephens may be moving up as he kind of gets some wear and tear on him, and the camps get more difficult the more wear and tear you have. They're about the same age, but Stephens has close to 40 professional fights, and Drakkar Klose has got fewer than 15. So
yeah, I mean, Stephens is tough as nails, man. I've been watching him since the beginning. He's had some wars inside the octagon. But you can't ever count him out, man. And it's not just his stand-up. He's got some ground game. He's got some grappling. Just like I said that Mike Perry was going to try and grapple in that last fight, and he did. He tried to wrestle. He was just not better than.
Just didn't work.
It just wasn't.
D-Rod, baby. Oh, he looked so good.
He did. I mean, we got to speak a little bit on D-Rod because, man, he looked like a killer in that fight.
Well, let's go ahead and pick this one, and then we can come back to this. I mean, I think this fight is going to be fought entirely on the feet. I think it's just a matter of whether Drakkar Klose is going to be able to outpoint Stephens and kind of dodge him, or if Stephens is going to go in there and just fight through those hands and knock out Klose. I do like Klose to go ahead and outpoint him on the feet, though, and be a little quicker, and the wear and tear finally is going to catch up with Stephens as well.
Yeah, I believe he's the underdog in that fight, if I'm not mistaken. Is he not?
Drakkar Klose is plus 100 dog, and Stephens is minus 120 favorite.
So almost a pick 'em. So yeah, I mean, I like Stevenson in this one. I think he gets it done by knockout. Klose just lost to Beneil Dariush by knockout, and I think Stevenson gets it done same way, standing.
Fair enough. He's lost 4 out of 5 with a no contest as well.
Yeah.
But neither of them's coming off a win. So both these guys, Stephens is just like Arlovsky, trying to
stay in there,
stay in the game. Yep. Stay UFC. Oh, well, this is exciting. We've picked all 3 different fights for this week. So this would be a potential moving day. Well, it'll definitely be a moving day for one of us. Which directions we're moving in, huh?
I could either be way back or right even with you, baby, whichever way it comes.
That's right. But circling back to last week, and you brought up Mike Perry and D-Rod. Oh, my God. And how about freaking Mike Perry coming out after the fight and saying, man, I used to be great. Like he's never even been in the top 15. Like, what is his deal? I think he thinks he's better than he is, especially after the last couple of efforts he's put forth.
I think he has been in the top 15 before. He had a little run, if I'm not mistaken. But, man, it was tough. I mean, I get it. And he's a dad now. He's a new dad. And it does bring some perspective to you when you do become a dad. And, it's heartbreaking to see some of the things that he posts. Because, I mean, he is one of those guys that you kind of want to cheer for. Like you want him to turn his life around. You don't want like the things that he does, to affect. Like you don't want that his kids to see that.
Oh, definitely not. Yeah. Well, that's why I made kind of a face and a little bit of a noise when you said, I think I said, "Oh God," when you said he's now a father. I mean, this guy can't even take care of himself. I mean, now sometimes that'll make you get your shit together, right?
It
The
will
feeling
definitely
of responsibility and having somebody that's dependent on you certainly shaped you up, didn't it?
Yeah, I mean, it changes you for the better. I mean, to be honest with you, it's because you have to think it's not all about you anymore. It's
Right.
about who you have to provide for, and because my kids, they can't take care of themselves. They need me. They need their mother. They need their dad. You have to provide for them and feed them. Like they can't do it on their own. So it definitely makes you think and do things that you normally wouldn't do, or like not going out and having that drink, or going in somewhere and staying out till midnight, because
Yeah,
you're gonna have to get up early and to be with them.
not to get too personal on this, but like just watching you become a father and your two kids now, like seeing the change in you from, not that you're not still a fun guy who, I want to hang out with and have some drinks with, but seeing you go from the guy that I went to my very first UFC event, Cub Swanson, and whoever the other guy, I don't remember who was fighting that night in Nashville.
It was Artem Lobov, and
yeah, that's what it was.
Team, and Mike Perry was on that card. Remember, he hit.
Do I remember? Huh.
He hit. Oh my God, what was his name? But he elbowed that vicious elbow knockout. Where I can't believe you don't remember that.
Well, no, that's what I was gonna say. The guy that I got absolutely way too drunk with drinking vodka and 5-hour energies, and then went to the fight. And then I don't know if I've ever actually we've alluded to it, but I don't know if I've ever actually gotten to the story. But we were drinking vodka and throwing some 5-hour energies in the shots at your apartment in downtown Nashville before we walked over to the Bridgestone Arena.
We were doing more than that too.
Oh man, we were chugging beers, we were doing all kinds of stuff, and we walked over there. I hardly remember it. We were drinking beers in the arena too, and I was
double Jim Beam, Jack and Coke, yep. Double Jack and Coke,
and I was
whatever we can get our hands on. We were drinking it,
hooting and hollering all kinds of profanities, and I think ruining the experience of the people around me. But the conclusion of that story ends with us going back to your apartment and saying we were going to go back out down on Broadway in Nashville, and we were walking down the sidewalk on 2nd Street, which is a pretty steep hill, and I saw what appeared to be an aluminum can sitting on the ground. And I decided to go and haul off and, kick the can down the street, just like the kids do in the city, right? Like kick the can a little bit. And I hauled off and I kicked that thing like an NFL place kicker. And oh my God, thank God I was wearing boots, because it was not a can. It was the bottom of a street sign post that is anchored into the concrete. There was just no street sign like attached to it. And I broke my toe. My toenail ended up, I think, coming off. I thank God we all had taken off work the next day. And so I went to the urgent care and got an x-ray. The guy had to burn a hole in my toenail. It was truly awful. And then I came in a boot to work a couple of days later at Puckett's downtown where you and I met and where we worked together for a year. And man, I did not hear the end of that for a long time. So that was how I fell in love with UFC.
Well, not only that, but I also had to carry your ass halfway to get to the Uber and put your ass in the Uber after you kicked the damn can, and we're sitting in the corner where I think it was where the bomb went off in Nashville. It was right there where Hooters and what's the damn place?
I think it was in front of the urgent care that I ended up going to the next day.
No, what's the place that the bar we used to go to?
Buffalo Brothers or something?
Yes, it was right. You were right
something.
in there. Yeah. Oh, damn, was that what it was called? Anyways, where I think it was Dick's right there too.
Yeah.
And then right
it's like all the big chains, and then Buffalo or something.
I can't remember what the hell it was called. Where we drink those. You got the shot cards. Remember?
Yeah. Oh man. Let's not. I don't think we need to tell all those stories. There's too many.
You were just sitting there. Did you see the video that I sent you? I found a video of you from the UFC fight.
No, I didn't, but that better not find its way onto this YouTube channel is all I have to say about that. But
you might have, let me tell you something. I might have to put that one up there. It's you hooting and hollering.
No.
With an 8-year-old girl sitting right next to us.
All right. Well, thanks for joining us today, everybody. I think we're going to go ahead and wrap it up there before Josh puts my professional reputation in any more jeopardy. Just in case anybody from my work stumbles across this, but
you'll be all right. You'll be fine.
Anything else on your mind before we wrap it up, big guy?
Yeah, I want to talk Ben Askren, Jake Paul, real quick.
Oh, I forgot about that. All right, well, go ahead and talk about it. I don't care, man. I don't want to watch that. I have no interest in the Paul brothers calling out washed-up ass wrestling Ben Askren, who's most. His biggest contribution to UFC is getting knocked out more quickly than anybody else by Jorge Masvidal. Like, I got absolutely zero interest in this fight. If Jake Paul wants to fight somebody that can actually fight, somebody that can actually box, I'm here for that. But watching him go up against Ben Askren, the wrestler, give me a break, man.
So you're taking Jake Paul?
No, I don't give a shit.
No, I think I'm gonna watch it. Yeah, I don't care, but I'm not gonna pay for it.
Is it Saturday?
Yeah, I think it's Saturday or something. I'll just put it on my computer or something.
I might do that just to say I watched it so I can talk about it with you and rip it more next week. But
yeah, I mean, I think it's interesting a little bit. I mean, it's just the intrigue, really. I just want to see kind of what Jake Paul's all about. We don't really know if he knocked out Nate Robinson.
That was funny. Kind of scary, actually.
Nate Robinson made the meme central on that one.
Oh my God, who was it last week? God, it was in the prelims. It might have been Jorgen De Castro who put the guy to sleep. But man, this dude straight up, like, his eyes rolled back into his head, and I don't remember who it was. Let me see if I can pull it up really quick.
Well, I think De Castro got knocked out, didn't he?
I don't know. I'm pulling up last week's card right now so that I can.
Well, Stipe made it on the memes too with his knockout against Francis, knocking him out, doing the stanky leg.
Yeah, that was absolutely brutal too.
But yeah, that, and while you're looking that up, I'm gonna watch.
Oh yeah, it was De Castro. Yeah,
he got knocked out. Yeah.
Yeah.
I'm gonna watch on Friday night on Showtime. Bellator. They got their light heavyweight tournament going on. Their light heavyweight champ's gonna be fighting Phil Davis. Phil Davis is a old UFC veteran, so it should be interesting to see how he does. I think he probably loses that fight. I think I can't ever remember the Russian's name. He was a champ there for them. I think he gets it done standing, probably knocks him out. And then Corey Anderson is fighting too. So I think Corey Anderson gets it done by decision in that one.
Yeah, I don't think I've ever watched a single Bellator fight. Their talent level has started to pick up a little bit. It's still kind of a lot of UFC leftovers, but they're actually starting to kind of pick some people up who are sort of more mid-career as opposed to late career.
And the thing is, for them, a lot of those guys, some of them they've built from their own company within. Michael Chandler's one of those guys that started there. Hell, Eddie Alvarez was one of those guys that started there. He won a UFC title. I think the light heavyweight division for Bellator, it could arguably be better than the UFC light heavyweight division. You got the guys, Yoel Romero's in it, Anthony Johnson's in, Brian Bader, who's one of those top guys. I mean, Brian Bader, really, if John Jones wasn't in that division back then, Brian Bader would have been the champ. And that's how
Romero actually fighting people in there instead of just pacing around the outside the octagon.
This will be his first fight against Anthony Johnson, so we'll see. And I can't wait to see that fight. Anthony Johnson was one of those guys that was, and he was like Francis before Francis, in the light heavyweight division. I mean, DC kind of laid the blueprint to how to beat him. You just wrestle him and wear him out and submit him essentially. But should be a good fight week for sure as far as what we've got going on this weekend. But I'm more interested in seeing the Robert Whittaker, Calvin Gastelum. That's the fight that I'll watch before I watch anything else.
Yeah, absolutely. Totally agree, man. So yeah, you're right. Kind of team sports are in a lull right now, like we talked about last week, and
yeah, we'll have to get into
fights right now.
Yeah, we'll have to get into some of the draft come next week along with or maybe do a draft show, and because we got our big card coming up next week, UFC 261, 262, 261,
261, I believe.
Yeah, I think I'm not sure. I can't remember. I lose track of all the damn numbers.
It is 261.
Yeah, with Jorge and Usman and Valentina and Andrade and then Rose and Weili.
It's going to be so good, man. So look forward to that show next week, and then we'll talk a little draft the very following week after that. Focus a lot on the Panthers, probably. We're both big Carolina Panthers fans, so
absolutely
stay tuned, man.
Yeah. Oh, one thing I wanted to ask you before we go, and this will be quick. So I have little nicknames for my wife. I don't know if you do this for your girlfriend or not. Do you call her anything other than the basic like baby or anything like that?
I mean, sometimes, yeah.
Well, so I always my wife hates it when I call her Big Booty Judy.
Oh my God. It's a good one. Start using that.
Big Booty Judy. I love it. I always call her that, and I call her when she was pregnant, she hated it when I called her Big Sexy. And then I can't think of the other ones. Off the top of my head, they just come to me like that sometimes. So normally, I was wondering if you had anything.
I just make fun of her for being like cranky all the time. Like she's really, 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 really not a morning person whatsoever.
My wife either.
Yeah, so she's always like grumpy in the morning, and so I'll just like poke at her and make puns.
Be annoying as shit.
Yeah, exactly. Try and drive her crazy. So
I do the same thing.
One of life's greatest pleasures is driving your partner crazy, for sure.
Absolutely, brother. Well, I've got nothing else unless you got something.
No, man, that'll do it for us this week from Right Hand, Left Hand. I'm John, here with Josh, and we'll see y'all next time.